If you were no longer affected by the judgment of others and you stopped judging yourself, would you make different choices? Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here's the host of Inspired Choices radio show, Possibilities Coach, Christine McIver.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. So happy that you are here tonight. We have a fabulous show, and I have a wonderful person that's going to be dancing with me tonight on this show. We're going to be talking about, are you arguing for your limitations? And I have a wonderful lady by the name of Rena Wells. Welcome, Rena.
Hello. I'm so excited for tonight. Thanks for having me, Christine.
I am so excited for you to come on, too, because this is a topic that you and I have been talking about and playing with, and it was like, okay, let's do this. And so tonight we are going to be diving in big time into everything about limitations, what we're choosing, what makes us crazy, how we can change it. I'm telling you, you do not want to leave. This is going to be a rockin' show. So before we get into that, I just want to tell you a little bit about me. I am a possibilities coach. I work with individuals and organizations to help them move forward into creating what it is that they know is possible. I work with people from a business perspective as well as a personal perspective. I love to create. I love to really move through and invite change into people's worlds. If there is something in your life or in your business that isn't working and you know it can, I would love to have the opportunity to work with you to see what we could create. I am a certified facilitator with Access Consciousness. I'm a professionally trained coach. I am a business owner, a radio show host, a producer, and I'm the owner of this fabulous platform. I will boast that because I love it. And doing what I love turns me on and lights me up in the world, and I know when other people are doing what turns them on and lights them up, they're contributing to the world as well. So if there's anything that I'm sharing with you you'd like to learn more about, you can contact me at inspiredchoices.ca. Now, on to my wonderful guest, Rena Wells. What can I tell you about Rena? Rena is a natural empath, psychic, medium, divine channel, healer, transformational coach, motivational speaker, and radio show host. And I'm going to add, she's a kick-ass, aware broad who changes things fast.
Oh, you're so sweet.
It's true. She has been guided to aid humanity in shifting the current spiritual paradigm into conscious soul operation. Imagine ending the battle between the logical mind versus the heart and stepping into the power you were born with. You have the power to make sound, powerful choices to manifest your birthright abundance. You have simply forgotten how, and Rena is here to remind you. So you can see from her bio and mine that we actually dance in the same playground. So glad you're here with me tonight, Rena.
I am so excited.
Where can people contact you if they would like to play and work with you?
They can reach me at my website at www.renawells.com. You can book a free 1-hour paradigm shift session with me. I do coaching, and it's kind of going to a part-time basis, so spaces are very limited right now. But, you can reach me there at my website, or you can email me at rena.wells@renawells.com. And that's the best way to get a hold of me, yeah.
Awesome. Or you can check her out through the network because Rena has her own show called The Journey Home that she is on at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Monday, so you can check her out here on the network as well.
That's right.
So, you forgot, right?
Yeah, I know. I totally forgot to just throw that in there.
It's okay. We're doing so much. It's like, wait a minute, where else? So tonight, are you arguing for your limitations? Do you know what your limitations are? How do you view your limitations? If you're not aware of them, are they on an autopilot system? Do you try to handle your limitations, or are you willing to move beyond them? What if you don't ever have to handle anything, any limitation again? Are you willing to have ease? Really willing to have ease. So you and I put that together, Rena. What about that pops for you?
Oh, it goes to being at ease with no matter what shows up. That's what was popping up as you were reading that, because things were flashing through my mind as you were saying that, and I was seeing images of everything that we've been talking about, and it's really been about relaxing into your situations.
Right.
So, yeah, that's what came to me when you...
Let's talk about limitation. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that, because the ease piece jumped up for me as well. Let's talk about what limitations are, first of all, because, you know, everybody probably has their own thoughts on what that is. So what are limitations for you when you hear that word?
For me, it's something where the feeling of restriction comes up. That's the best way empathically that I can explain it. So when you feel a little tense in your body, you feel the queasiness in your stomach, right? You feel really just unsure of something, and it's things aren't flowing. We tend to try to fix it or try to feel better about it.
Right.
And that's where I feel that's the limitation, that's showing you that there's something in this moment or in this situation or something that's going on in my life. I'm not feeling free. I'm not feeling at ease. I'm not feeling so. That's how I identify resistance.
Cool. Yeah, I like that. Just to add to what popped up for me is, and it's going back to our description about the autoresponder. And, you know, a lot of the times we don't actually realize that we do have a limitation in our world. Right. But here's kind of a sign that you have a limitation. If you don't feel like you have total choice. Because some of us have been sold the bill of goods that quote unquote, that's the way it is.
Right.
Right? And we just kind of go, oh, okay, that's the way it is. You know, that's the way it is. It's like, you know, you go to your kitchen and you're like, well, what do we have for dinner? Well, we have eggs, we have bread, and we have bacon. So we're having eggs and bacon. We're going to have breakfast for dinner. Oh, that's the way it is. Right? And we don't see it as a limitation. We go, that's the choice we have. But it actually is a limitation because it's not really choice. And how many areas in our lives where do we actually just get in line with that's the way it is? And we don't really go into resistance because, I mean, there's lots of them popping in my mind right now. It's like, you know, we've been doing this our whole lives, and we don't actually, a lot of the time, question that's the way it is. And that can absolutely be a limitation when we don't have choice.
And what comes up for me when you say that, Christine, is our family traditions, right? The cultures we were raised in, all of those conditionings is where we become afraid that, you know, if I don't do the same Christmas ritual that I absolutely can't stand, that I want to do something entirely different, I almost feel guilty or unable to let some of that go because I want to carry on traditions. But it could also be that those conditions limit you in some way in finding more of yourself to become more of an expansion of yourself. Because we've already done those things. We've been doing those things for centuries. And who knows how long that has been going on for.
Right. Lifetimes and lifetimes. Well, that's the way it is. It's like, wow. Why would we want to come back? Well, that's the way it is. We just keep coming back. We keep doing the same thing over and over. It's like Groundhog Day and insanity.
Oh, goodness. Yes, Groundhog Day. It's funny you bring that up because I've always had some type of connection to that movie since I was a kid watching that.
Really?
It drove me. Yeah. Felt like I've lived Groundhog Day over and over and over and over again. And it was weird. It was this weird intuition thing when I was a kid. I used to sit really still and look at my hands and say, I'm not going to move because I'm making a choice not to move right now. I knew something was strange about this reality, right? And our children know this. So the innocence of kids, right, and how they know that energy, we out of tradition as well with our parenting will say, no, you can't do that. And we pass it down.
So we stop them from really making a choice by entraining them into our own autoresponder limitations.
Yes.
We're so cute. Seriously, so cute. So limitations can also be places and spaces where we are desiring to create more and we don't even realize we're creating more. Like, I don't know whether it was you I was speaking to or someone else where I had said a couple of weeks ago, maybe it was about 3 weeks ago, I was literally in this energy of ho-hum. Like, it was just this really, quote unquote beige energy of creation and nothing. There was nothing there. Mm-hmm. And, the old autoresponder in my brain went, what's wrong with you?
Right.
And it's like, wait a second. What is that? What is going on? So when I was able to start looking at it and getting more questions, I really did understand that, and we're going to get into this more in the next segment, but I really did understand that there was a contrast going on. It wasn't so much a quote-unquote limitation, but there was a contrast going on. And what's interesting, and this is the arguing for part, right, that I really want to touch on before we kind of dive into how we can really move beyond this. But so many times we will be talking about, well, this is the way it is, and this is why it's like this, and this is why it's happening, and blah, 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 blah. And we literally find all the reasons and justifications for why that limitation is there. Basically, for me, anyways, Rena, and jump in, but basically agreeing and aligning with it that, yep, you have full justification for that limitation.
Yes. And we like that because that's comfortable for us, right? And I think when we feel comfort in a situation for so long, because it hasn't really been anything that big of a deal in our minds, we excuse it away, like you said, right? Mm-hmm. It just becomes harder because it's become so comfortable. Mm-hmm. And so that's where I found it really difficult in my growth, was that things had to really kind of shake up. And even though I thought the contrast was coming really, really strong, it was because I was holding on so strongly to the comfort.
To the comfort. Mm-hmm. So I just got a visual of you, Rena, in a very terrible, terrible storm, kind of holding onto the side of a building, and your body is completely parallel with Earth, right? You're just like, okay, I'm in the contrast, but damn it, I'm going to hold on as tight as I can.
Yeah, you're going to have to take me. Just take me. I can't do anything else but hang on to this tree right now.
For God's sake, somebody shift the wind in another direction so I'll get kicked off here.
Exactly.
Wow.
And we all have those moments.
We all do. And so, like I said, after the break, we're going to get more into talking about contrast. And I have this great email that I received this week from Abraham Hicks, and it's like, timing is everything. I just love how the universe lines everything up, Rena. I can't wait to share this with everybody. So you are listening to the Inspired Choices radio show. We will get back into this fabulous topic with Rena right after this commercial break here, where we're talking about, are you arguing for your limitations? Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning in to Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you ready to have pleasure with your business? Yes, I said pleasure with your business. The Pleasure of Business a la carte will surprise you with topics like meet yourself in the boardroom, money, services, and you. Expand your visibility. The pleasure of communication. The pleasure of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Christine McIver has so much pleasure with business and loves teaching all things business. Beginning a new business? Desiring to expand a current business? Or looking to resurrect a business that has been dormant? This program will get you fired up and bring more pleasure than you have ever imagined. Exhausted with your excuses for not creating a phenomenal business? Join now for all the pleasure with business. Pleasure of Business a la carte gives you total choice for what you desire and what your business requires. That's 24 weeks of different topics to choose from with weekly calls, audio and video recordings, and PDFs. This class will have you dive right in and use tools to create the business that has been speaking to you. Go to inspiredchoices.ca for full details or join the Facebook page Pleasure of Business a la carte. Now is the time for you and your business.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with Possibilities Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736 or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I am thrilled to have my friend and colleague here, Rena Wells, and tonight we are talking about, are you arguing for your limitations? And if you missed the first segment, you need to go back because we dove into all about the limitations and how some of those get created. And what we're going to get into now is talking about contrast. And just to start this off, I'm going to read this quote, Rena. I think you'll really appreciate this and all the listeners. So this is from Abraham Hicks. And it says, contrast helps you to identify desire. Desire is summoning. It's always flowing through you. You have the opportunity of opening to the harmony of the vibration of your desire or not. As the desires are being summoned through you and you go with the flow, you thrive. But if you use things to be your excuse, insert limitations, for not going with the flow, you are arguing for your limitations. I can't believe this came in. That was so funny.
That came in? I'm sorry, I had to jump in there. I'm sorry, that just came in? Like that?
Came in a few days ago. After I named the show.
My gosh. Okay, this is just amazing. I think that's amazing. I had to jump in there. Sorry, go on. Sorry. I can't help it.
Me too. Okay. Sorry, I'll try not to laugh. This goes on to say, we want to show you how to go with the flow, which means nothing more than finding vibrational harmony with your own desire and letting the universal energy that your desire is summoning to it flow to it through you. It is optimum creative experience. Is that not fantastic?
If you want to talk specifics, I've heard Bob Proctor say many times the universe is so amazing that, you can land a rocket on the moon to measure it at a millisecond, and it's so precise, and that is so precise and so specific. Like, you just can't deny that. Wow.
No, you can't deny that.
Amazing.
Yeah. So, as we line up more and more and we get into our zone, you can use all sorts of words. You can say your zone, your vibration, your attunement, whatever it is. As you line yourself up more and more, things are creating faster. I'm seeing it. You're seeing it, how quickly it's happening. But let's talk about the contrast, and then we'll come back to this alignment piece. So talk to us all about contrast, what contrast is in your world and how you kind of first discovered it and how you've been using it with your clients, Rena.
So let's go to, I guess, how I discovered it. That's really been, I had to go through a lot of darkness to recognize contrast. I made my way through different variations of contrast that I almost feel that I've experienced all edges of the dark, that I was like, okay, I'm done with this now. I'm done. I am so done with this, and there has to be something else. And I think it was that waking up where, because I had a lot of depression in my life and things like that, right? So I came from a very painful, dark place. And to move up through that was to transmute that into places of love was when I recognized that it was contrast. So I think our deepest pain is my answer to that one, that when you're we're pained into this world through birth, because labor and birth is not pleasurable. I mean, right? And after the pain, what do you get? You enter into a new transitional reality.
And usually it's one of breathtaking beauty.
Yes. So
did you find, as you started to move through your contrast, that you had this explosive beauty coming in?
Yeah, it almost felt that, when I cleared something or really looked deeply at what it was that I was missing inside of myself, and starting to, I almost feel like come back into oneness with myself, come back into a wholeness with myself, was when I really started to experience more light manifestations and more of my power. It just started to grow. So it kept calling me. It kept, those light things that I experienced and the growth that I experienced, it just kept calling me, because even if it was just a taste of it, it was still so much better than all that dark stuff. Even just a little piece of the light just, keeps you going for it.
Right. So when we talk about contrast, we're talking about contrast being the opposite of what it is that lights us up and turns us on.
Yeah, exactly.
So I know I've heard you say it. I know I've heard other people say it. And I'm telling you, probably up until just a couple of weeks ago, I wanted to tell everybody that said this to go pound salt, because I didn't get it. Because you get it when you get it, Rena.
Yeah.
And so what it was that the contrast actually is a gift. And when you're in the contrast, when you feel like you're broken, when you feel like you are, you are in that very heavy space of arguing for your limitations, right? You've got all of this shit that's happening in your life. You've got all of these things that are not going your way. How can they possibly be a gift? When you feel like you're struggling, there's listeners that may be struggling for the last week or maybe for their entire life. How is that a gift?
Yeah, that's the hardest part, because there's so much pain there. And the one technique that really helped me, it was when I had done group therapy, and this was, about 15 years ago now. But the first aspect that I learned to love myself was to touch in my body, physically touch and place my hands where I felt the pain, where I intuitively would go inside of the pain and feel where it was in my body, so I could touch it and bring focus and to bring love directly to that spot. Because when we get caught up in the emotional aspect and you're vibrating in that type of depth of darkness, it's too how do I put it? It's too jumbled up inside. Like you can't find your emotions. You're just not feeling good, right? So I would start to touch different places in my body and say that I love you. I bring love here. And it would start to ease. I would actually feel my body start to relax a little bit. And that
what
really
I got when you were
me. Sorry.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. What I got when you were saying that, it's you are connecting to the truth of what's going on, and you're not stuck in your monkey mind about it. And there's like, when we're in the monkey mind, when the body is manifesting the pain, within our body, even if it's in our heart or it's anywhere. But when it's manifested in our body and we go into monkey mind and we get lost in that, what's the merry-go-round of thoughts, we're actually doing separation with the gift of the pain.
Yes. Yes.
And so if we're not in touch with that, the depth of that darkness, we actually can't change it.
Right. And to resist it is just to continue the cycle, because it'll just keep coming back.
Okay, so let's talk about the resistance. Let's talk about, let's give people an example of what resisting the contrast would look like.
Okay. Let's talk about financial. I think that's the biggest thing that most people have issues with. Financial is one, right? Relationships are another. So something pops up that, you can't make your car payment.
Right.
And you don't have money. And where do most people go? What response are you having that is the same response tied to what your parents had? Right?
Panic, fear, shame.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so how do you handle something like that? How do you handle that contrast? Because that's something you don't want, obviously.
Right. Well, most of us scramble to try to figure out how are we going to avoid that.
Right.
So we're going into our brains, which stores the old crap all the time. And, pardon me, and we're looking for, where can I get that money? Or how can I get that? The old saying, how can I steal from Peter to pay Paul? And so we're looking for the answers.
Exactly.
Which are just Crazyville, again, back in monkey mind.
Yeah. And that's what we've been taught. Right? That's how that's what we've always done. So, and like you said, the brain is a reference library. It can only bring stuff up that's already occurred to you. So you're staying in the loop. So you have to do something different. And what I've learned with money, with those things popping up, is your present moment is actually the past. Because when you look at quantum physics and how things become a physical manifestation, it starts in energy first, and then it comes down to the lowest form, which is the third dimension, which is our dimension, for it to actually show up. So when contract shows up for you, it's something you manifested, something that you were worried about maybe last month's payment. So it just seemed to, manifest for you. So what I found that I had to do was to ignore it. I had to move away from it and do my best to feel better and to do affirmations and to really concentrate on my yoga or concentrate on my meditating. And I'm not going to lie, it was hard. It was hard at first.
Right. It is hard because how do you stop the screaming in your head? And yet, if we really step into, and if this is not your first time listening, you will have heard me say this before, we're infinite beings. We have total and complete choice, and the universe absolutely, if you look at any of the information about the laws of the universe, you know that the universe completely matches where you are. And so if you are in the crazy mind, if you are in the monkey mind, it's going to match it, giving you more crazy. But if you know that these laws are real and true, and even if you've only actually had an example, a couple of examples in your life that you can actually look to where the laws actually, you can see very clearly how the laws played out and how when you chose that better feeling, that better thought, where you stayed in your joy, where you stayed in your lane, and if you can just hold on to that and start to replicate that behavior, the universe will match that. It's, how we always joke, law, death and taxes are the two guaranteed things. I think we need to add one to that, Rena.
What?
I think we need to add your vibration will always be matched. These are the guarantees. There's actually 3 guarantees.
Yes. Yes. That is so true right there. Your vibration will just always be matched. So what I had to used to do to get out of that was to go back into childlike mode, and I played with my children. So if there's any parents out there who still have young kids at home, play with them. That would pull me out of it because they are so innocent and so fun that I would immediately feel better. Immediately feel better.
That's awesome.
Something
I'm going to out myself. I'm going to out myself and say that I will sometimes go and watch a children's Disney movie.
Oh, that's awesome. I love Disney movies.
I do too. I just don't admit I watch them by myself.
I do too. So I'll join you on that.
That's awesome. We'll have to get together and have a bottle of wine and watch a Disney movie together right now. Okay, we are going to go to our second break here on the Inspired Choices radio show, where we're talking about, are you arguing for your limitations? We've got Rena Wells who's joined us tonight, and we're going to dive into, okay, how do we move beyond the arguing for our limitations when we get back from this short commercial break? Stay tuned, everyone. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on the past or what others think. What would our lives be like if we made choices based on what we desire in this moment? By tuning into Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities coach Christine McIver, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to do just that. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to create the life and living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Get out of the never-ending dualistic battle between the mind and the heart and get into the seat of your soul. Become empowered and own your divinity because it's your birthright abundance. By tuning into The Journey Home Show with intuitive transformation coach Rena Wells, you will receive tools, inspiration, and new concepts that will break old belief systems. Be wowed into your innate abilities and manifest your desires. Listen for The Journey Home Show every Monday at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Mountain, and 8 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
This is Inspired Choices radio show with Possibilities coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255. In Canada, 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. So happy you're here with us tonight. We've got Rena Wells. We're talking about limitations and manifestations and contrast and crazy mind and everything under the sun. But before we get back into the show, Rena, what's going on in your business? What are you inviting people into in your business and in what you're loving to create right now?
Well, I'm right now working on 2 things. So I'm still doing part-time my coaching business. So I do have openings, but I am very limited in space. And I transform people from whatever's going on in their life and how to face their contrast, how to transcend that, and how to step and align into their authentic selves. And through my own journey and intuitively feeling energy, I'm able to go in with my clients and intuitively feel what's going on and then to somewhat help guide them into alignment, into their power. So I'm doing that on one part. And the other part is I'm creating a business called Artsy, which the meaning of Artsy...
It's
okay, totally. It's something that is totally... that's in my vortex that Abraham talks about, and that it was supposed to bring me back. And I had a really profound moment this morning, actually. Actually, it started last night. I had a dream of what artsy meant and what artsy stood for. And it's spelled ARTSI, and it stands for Arts Require Technology and Social Interaction. And I was just like, oh my goodness, Spirit, what is this? And if for those of you that don't know this, I have over 17 years of IT experience, and I worked in government and ran projects across Canada. So I have a lot of IT experience, and I loved IT and I loved innovation. That's actually where I started. Was I worked in research and development and got to bring new technologies into the government. I absolutely loved it. So it's funny that everything that I have gone through, even all of that really, really dark stuff, it's all making sense to me now. And I can only say that when I was in the dark and I heard someone say that, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't quite believe it. But now that I see things happening, I'm like, oh, it's clicking. I'm getting it. I'm seeing why I had to go through that. 15 years ago even the house that I'm manifesting right now is the exact same design plan that I had when I first got married that I was renovating, and every renovation that I wanted to do has been done.
This is so awesome. Okay, I've got to read another quote. You're going to... Okay. I'm not kidding you guys. I know. It's so awesome. Okay, so do you know the Tut? Have you ever heard of Tut, a note from the universe?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So this is, if no one knows what that is, this is Mike Dooley, created this many, many years ago, and he sends out an email every day, and I really look forward to both of these emails coming in. So this is what it said yesterday. Christine, do you know what your thoughts did last week? They became the things and events of this week. The things you thought would be difficult became difficult. Easy became easy. Boring became boring. And fun became fun. Where you thought there might be surprises, you were surprised. And where you thought there might be landmines, there were landmines. Bravo! You can add this week to the list of the most creative accomplishments. Now, can you guess what your thoughts this week are going to do? And it goes on to say, you are awesome, the universe. P.S. Christine, please choose every single one of them as if nothing else mattered.
Wow. It's just so perfectly aligned. And I read something today by Steve Jobs because I've just been obsessed with him today, because that came in this morning as well with everything that came in with Artsy when I woke up, that he created technology based on Zen-like feelings and based on intuitiveness, and he was a hippie. And I looked at my own background in working in technology and creating Artsy as an app, as a one app that you go into that you can create anything that you want, a movie, a graphical poster, a music video, compose music, because there's nothing like that supporting the arts. Mm-hmm. So that's the whole other side of that. But yeah, everything that's happening is so in alignment, exactly what you just read. What's been happening in the past week, and just the pull. There's no resistance at all. You cannot deny the feeling. That's how you know you're manifesting. You don't question anything. You just know it.
Right. And, I want to give an example. So very close friends, Rhonda, who's in the chat room, and Rena and a couple of other people know that, like everyone, I've been going through some very interesting things over the last, I would say since the first of the year. And there's been an intense amount of contrast. My old words would have been shit's flying everywhere. But my new word is there's an intense amount of contrast. And, I I'm not shy to say that I've hit the wall many times since the first of the year. Fetal position, quite familiar with it, and it's been so intensely difficult. And yet, the willingness, this is what's changed for me, my choice and my willingness to look at it very clearly and very quickly, asking questions like, okay, universe, show me what I truly desire. That's one of my go-to questions. Or, all right, how can I change this? And really getting the hit, getting the awareness, getting the download from the universe and choosing it. And although my mind would be in monkey mind, right? Like the thoughts would be still in there swirling, I began to say, no, I'm not having this. I am changing this no matter what. And my manifestations through this over the last, what are we talking, 10 weeks, the speed at the change in my manifestation is actually, mind-boggling to me. Like, I'm shocked.
That's awesome.
And it's totally awesome. And I share this story because I really want people to get that you, honestly, you have the capacity, you have the potency, and you have the ability to choose beyond all of it. Whatever it is, you do have the ability. It's right there for us. And it's not always easy. But when you have that deep determination that you're going to change what's not working, and you allow the what's not working to say, hey, you got a little, you got a zit over here. Here's a zit. You don't want this zit. You want something else. And you just use it as oh, wow, there's a zit. I want to get rid of that. What do I want? And from what we're talking about, when you start to focus on the smooth skin as opposed to the zit, that's how we begin to manifest and create our desires into physical form.
Yeah, because whatever you focus on is what will be created.
Always.
That's your power, always, yeah.
100%. So, what else, Rena? What else can we tell our amazing listeners? You know what? When we get into this space, there's just so much ease. It's like my mind goes blank, as in it's just so much ease.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, I don't even know how to even explain it because the words aren't there. It's such a feeling place. And, I remember what I wanted to bring up. This is coming up for me. When we were speaking earlier and you were talking about Abraham, there's something that continuously rings up in my head. It kind of comes up. And that emotions are the spirituality behind the mysticism of everything. So that when we start doing all of this spiritual stuff and working with our angels and working with our guides and we're really more into the mystical side, that is how we utilize the visionary aspect of what we've told children is called imagination. So we think imagination is just that, something that's made up, but it's actually how your third eye interprets the other realms. So, wow. So using that to visualize your future and to visualize the things that you want and to focus on that, it goes along with your emotions, right? Because your emotions guide you into clarity, even if it's contrast or even if it's wherever you're manifesting, right, or wherever you're focusing upon.
Right.
You're going to feel that, and then that's what creates your reality. And then all of the mysticism behind there is you seeing with your third eye.
Okay, so say that quote again. We have a request in the chat room. Emotions are is the spirit, is a guide in how to emotionally
it's your compass. I guess is the best way, because I'm losing. I'm trying to go back to what I said, and it's not
so it
coming
was
now.
it was something to do with the other realms.
Oh, yes. So when you're speaking to mysticism, when you're seeing things and it comes up as images, that's, we've told our children that that's your imagination. That's actually your third eye. That's your portal of how you see other realms. But we have excused it. It's a limitation. Here we go. We've excused that as imagination or making it up. But we actually all have that ability. So if we can start trusting that ability and that imagination more, you're going to gain emotional balance.
And the emotions, and when we are having quote unquote negative emotions, which again, negative emotions are just is your perspective on what's negative. But when we are having these negative emotions, they are actually pointing us in the direction of you have a limitation here, and you also have a choice here. So it's really an emotion is a choice point to stay in it or to move beyond it. And our imagination is our co-creators in moving beyond it.
Yeah. And we can use our imagination for the dark too, right? Because how much, I know I've done this, I'm going to worry and I all of a sudden think of, I'm going to miss that payment, and then it actually happens, and I'm so aware that that was in my consciousness a month ago, and then it's like, oh my goodness, I actually did manifest that because I was visualizing it and I was seeing it.
Okay, I just got a really crazy thought. What if we actually celebrated all of our manifestations, including when we said, you know what, I'm broke, I don't have any money?
Exactly. It's like, hey, I messed up here with this. Okay, I need some work in this area, right? I'm here as a co-creator.
But if we could acknowledge, Rena, that we are that potent, we are that magical, that, you know what, oh, wow, I remember last week when I said X, and there's X showing up. Look at me being a brilliant creator.
Yes,
like, woohoo, I'm a brilliant creator.
I totally created chaos in this situation. Like, wow, I am really powerful. It's very true.
How damn good I am.
Yeah. And that's coming from your co-creator self. That's our natural way of being. We're here to manifest, create.
We're here to manifest, to play, to enjoy, to have fun. Yeah. We didn't come here to suffer. And yet so many of us have bought into that, like I remember especially from religion, that, suffering is normal in this lifetime. And it's when you suffer, I don't know, I can't remember the words anymore, but it was as if you suffer enough, you will get a really good place in heaven. What?
And that, and that almost starts to feel, like you're proud about it. I had to work really hard. I had to,
all the martyrs in the world just tapped into what we were talking about. They're like,
right?
Of course.
Yes. It doesn't have to be that way. Like, it is so easy how when you tap in and manifest, it doesn't feel like anything. We're just not accustomed to being totally chilled and totally relaxed.
True.
Because that's allowing.
And I think you and I were talking about this the other day. I have so many conversations around the same dance. That's why I keep saying I'm not sure if I spoke to Rena about it or not. But we have this. No, it wasn't. It was actually my dear friend from England. We have this. Trauma and drama. Let's talk about trauma and drama. So we're in trauma and drama, and there is a density to it, right? There is a thickness to it, as it were. And when that's been your mode of operandum most of your life, when you have space, when you have ease, the space and the ease, even though you're asking for it, is actually uncomfortable because you and your body and all the molecules in your body, they're used to density. So the lack of density, somehow in our minds, we have programmed ourselves or been programmed that there is something missing. And so we actually start to look for, we go back into those autoresponders of creating chaos.
Yes.
It's insane.
It is. And it's so interesting because you have to really, really, truly be done with the drama. That's what happened for me too. I was really just done with the dark. I was done with it. I was just never wanting to go back there. I had my fill of that experience. I'm ready to see where this abundant path is taking me. And that's where you got to really be truly just done, really done with it.
So are you arguing for your limitations, or are you done with the drama?
Exactly.
And you know, we have the power. Each and every person listening to this call, whether you're listening live or in the replay, you have the power to change this. You have the power to invite others to change it. You know, one of the big things, the reason that, you know, I have a radio show and I started the network and Rena has a radio show is because we do believe that our voices matter. And there's so many people out there that if you resonate with what we're talking about tonight and you get that your voice matters, please use it. Please use it, because you stepping up and sharing it will actually have someone else hear it that can't hear it from Rena or myself. This is how we are actually going to create the world that we know is possible.
Yes. Because we love that contrast. And when you're following your passion, everyone's unique and has such a unique talent to share. Mm-hmm. That we just all become puzzle pieces and we all just kind of fit together. And no one's without. Everyone has abundance and everyone is doing what feeds them and guides them.
And the contrast does feed us.
Yes.
The contrast does feed us. It feeds us more of that, or it feeds us the opportunity to focus in another direction.
Well, I love that you're starting to love it. I remember not that long ago, because, I mean, you've only been doing this for what, 10 weeks? I don't even, is it 10 weeks?
Really stepping into, okay, let's be really clear. Christine McIver has done contrast her whole life.
Yes.
And I have been looking for other opportunities, but enjoying the contrast. Yes, my darling. Yes. Let's just call it 2018.
Okay. Yeah. And we had this conversation. I remember saying that, and you were like, okay, I'm interested in that. How do you love this? Right? I remember that.
I have a bullshit button. I'm sure I hit it. Yeah, bullshit. I'm never going to enjoy the contrast. And yet it's like a, what do you call it? A big light, a big spotlight that the universe is saying, hey, Christine, you need to clean this up. Hey, Christine, you need to clean this up. And what's really funny, and there was one creation over the last week where, you know, it came up big and strong and hard, and it was like, oh my God, I'm going to just collapse under this. And, you know, with your support, with Rhonda's support, I leaned into it. And within a week, completely changed it, and it's gone from my universe. Like, it's gone. There's no residuals. There's no, you know, like, there's no little things still hidden. It's gone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay,
and that paradigm.
Cool. I'm in.
Yeah, the paradigm's over. It's done because you're shifting into a new paradigm. That's it. What more? What more can come? What more? Like, it's amazing.
Okay, Rena, this was a fabulous conversation. Thank you so much for everything you're creating in the world and for showing up tonight. I really appreciate it. I love dancing with you. And people, you can connect with Rena. What's your website again, Rena? Sorry, quick.
RenaWells.com.
renawells.com. You can connect with myself at inspiredchoices.ca. Be sure and check out all of Rena's replays and my replays in the archives. Have a fabulous week, everybody. Talk
Thank
to you
you for
next week.
choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by making the choices that bring you all that you desire.